Romanticism creates metaphors to explain and describe life. It places beings on trains, ships, and spacecraft. It builds roads, stations, and stopping points. It beautifies and indoctrinates life. Romanticism invariably captures the being who happily succumbs by surrendering to the submission of a well-constructed beauty. To the being who manifests, the ticket of passage that each person's story carries is hidden. Transit carries within it the layer that hides from the being the understanding that it is a passenger within the invisible illusion in which it finds itself. When the being dives into the story, it becomes clothed in eternity, incorporating all its components. These components remain united in the complicity that sustains the being's distraction. The being dives into the story, for the story is the only path of transposition. The being only transcends the story by crossing its own story. The story reveals the being. When the being is revealed, it transcends the story. The mechanics of the story operate through distractions, keeping the being entangled in its plot. The story only persists as long as the being inhabits it. For this, it forges artifices, beautifying environments, adorning events, and wrapping relationships with seductive brilliance. Pleasure and pain are pillars that sustain the existence of the being's story and serve as the basis for explaining and justifying its arguments. Understanding reveals the passenger. It is this vision that unveils and delivers all the weapons the being needs to transcend the story. The absence of understanding keeps it on the train, the ship, or the spacecraft. The nature of the story dissolves in the fire of understanding. Within the being's story dwells the darkness that blinds it, and it is easier to remain in it than to break free. Pure and simple acceptance is sold as a way to cause less pain than understanding. To understand, however, is to reveal the path and the way out. Leaving the story means confronting the romanticism that clothes the characters. The story sells love, and through the dependency it generates, reinforces the being's bonds. It wraps the being in the mantle of longing, affection, and saving heroism, a mantle that appears light, but whose true function is to hide the being's path to itself. The story blames selfishness for fleeing the mission it imposes on the being. Staying united and saving the species is presented as a definitive, unquestionable argument. All its construction is ingeniously articulated toward this purpose. The masks that uphold the story are invisible as masks, but cannot hide before understanding. Nothing, no one, no thing, has enough strength to take from the being the power to understand. No matter how many creatures, environments, and artifices are placed in creation, no matter how much figures are adorned with gold and treasures, granting them grandeur and beauty, the being will always find, in understanding, the clear vision of what it is, of the story in which it finds itself, and of the entry and exit doors of any and all stories. The greatest selfishness is to yield to the ego of the stories, and thus lose oneself.